Good morning, Makawa Honganji. This is Reverend Alan Urasaki coming to you from my home in Pearl City, Oahu. And we are today celebrating Happy Easter. Oh, no, I mean Happy Hanamatsuri, or the Buddha's birthday. Want to thank all of you for inviting me to speak to you on our Sunday service. So today, I just want to share with you my thoughts on this COVID-19 pandemic that we're going through. Maybe what would the Buddha, or what does Buddhist teachings help us to do during this time? So take a minute and take a listen. And as I give my talk, I'll be showing scenes from various temples that I've been where we were not social distancing. This is time, we might say it's before COVID, or BC, before COVID. And so take a listen, take a look at those photos that I'll be doing as I share my thoughts with you today. So thank you. The COVID-19 pandemic continues unabated, disrupting societies and communities and impacting lives and livelihoods around the world. As our day-to-day lives are inundated with news headlines and media alerts elevating our stress levels, it's all too easy to feel helpless at the perceived scale of the crisis. Yet, it is precisely during such times that the Buddhist values of mindfulness, compassion, and acceptance are most needed. When the Buddha Dharma offers the means to diffuse and de-escalate, to recenter and recalibrate before fear and uncertainty overwhelm our senses. At this time, as we celebrate the Buddha's birth, let us take a look at a Buddhist perspective on this turbulent situation, urging us to pause, take stock, and consider some of the positive aspects and opportunities we can draw from this time of crisis. Number 1. This is an opportunity to understand and accept reality. We have to understand that humankind will continue to live with infectious diseases in various forms. In the past, we could freely use our hands to clean and touch our face, but we no longer can do so. Even if we need to, we have to make sure we wash our hands thoroughly first. This mindful hand washing helps us to be more careful and at the same time give us more opportunities to be mindful in our daily lives, whereas in the past we might have taken many things for granted, including touching our face. Do you know you touch your face as many as 20 times an hour without even noticing? And for me, I used to wash my hands many times without soap, only for 5 seconds under the water. Is that really washing hands? Number 2, it is an opportunity for us to practice mindful living. News reports about conflicts and fights, things that take place around the world, has taken a back seat to this COVID-19 outbreak. Even news about tensions in various parts of the world has stopped. Even the presidential elections between the Democrats and Republicans are being ignored by the people as they pay attention. Their attention is focused on COVID-19 to the point of driving us crazy. You rarely hear a story of Mauna Kea protests or TMT or the rail project. We have to find a careful balance between carelessness and craziness. We should be aware that the coronavirus is not the only dangerous virus that is spreading in our society, even though the COVID-19 really does the doozy on our body. Fear is also spreading, harming our minds and impacting our humility, causing us to become selfish and to look down on those who are infected. Look at the long lines at Costco, Sam's Club, and Long's. People hoarding toilet paper and paper towels, rice, and hand sanitizers. There are reports of violence against Asian Americans from the other races from this fear of this Chinese virus or the Kung flu. We stock up on face masks, rubbing alcohol and other hygiene products, even though they may not be necessary, especially for those of us who are not infected. Now masks are out of stock throughout Hawaii and are not available for those who really need them. The shortage of face masks has a serious repercussions, as it means that medical personnel like doctors and nurses, caregivers do not have enough masks to wear while they are at work. Warnings are being given to people who are not infected that they shouldn't buy or use these N95 masks or surgical masks. This demonstrates that the COVID-19 itself can be less harmful than the fear of COVID-19. Therefore, as well as recognizing that we need to act to prevent or flatten the curve in our community, we should also ensure that we prevent our fear of COVID-19 from infecting our minds and hearts. So we should support each other on both levels. This is also an opportunity to be generous and support each other. Let's be thankful for the countless people or groups who have been volunteering to help at hospitals and care centers and nursing homes and just out in the general community, helping the kapuna and the children. We have heard stories that when COVID-19 began spreading in China, many people began volunteering to support each other. These acts of selfishness and kindness included providing rides for nurses, returning home to rest, and then bringing them back to the hospital for work. Some volunteers drove all night long to serve those doctors and nurses so that they could have an opportunity to rest before continuing their work. Actions such as these may begin with one volunteer, but can quickly multiply as many more follow their example. These small volunteer activities can build up into a network, sharing the volunteer spirit during times of crisis. My college friends have begun a grassroots volunteer program called Kapuna Care in all of the islands, where they match seniors, elderly, with volunteers, young volunteers, to help them do shopping or give them rides or such. This situation has great potential for each of us to reduce our selfish behaviors and attitudes and increase our generosity and support of each other. We need to stay connected and encourage people to express their goodness from within, which is ultimately helps others. I found this on the internet in between binge watching Terrace House on Netflix. It's a meditation from Bonnie Myotai Terrace of Hermitage Heart Zendo. And she says that there are 3 small but powerful reflections or practices to help us stay open-hearted and connected as we reckon with the fear and uncertainty that the coronavirus has brought so suddenly into our lives. The first, she says, the practice of Gassho mind. When someone approaches you, you tell them you need not get close. There will be a flicker or a fear or anxiety, and you should exhale. Say, please stop there, and bring your hands and your palms together in Gassho. Step back a bit if you need to. Smile and meet their eyes warmly. Let yourself feel their vulnerability along with your own. It's okay to take care of yourself in this and other ways. Even more important, don't let fear close your heart. So like what we do in Hawaii, they say give the person a shaka, not a handshake, a shaka. Now we can give them a gassho. The second practice is the practice of showing it. we are the right Sangha, the right community for this challenge. Every day, find a way, big or small, to show that you care for one another, that you care for each other, that you care for others. At least one every day. Each of us will, as always, have different opportunities, vulnerabilities, capacities. Elders and the ill have wisdom and patience, given their long experience with loss, resilience, and how attitude is everything. Offer these lovingly. Write a note. Send them a postcard. Whisper the words. Share with them. Those younger and able to have energy, chances to be creative in how they serve and volunteer. Buy them groceries. The quickness to see what needs changing. Offer these every day. Clean, garden, cook. Write innovative programs. Create the next world. Let's just start and shift from self-preoccupation to the activities of a bodhisattva. And lastly, she says we should have a memorial mind. We should be aware that grief is coming, that grief is here, and grief will be here. There will be death from this coronavirus. Make a space and time for it. Love, appreciation, reflection, sorrow. You will need to sit quietly and let these happen. We need to be real, capable of being real, and are called upon to be real. So for at least 5 minutes, let grief in, let it have its way. There are doctors, nurses, caregivers, first responders who are dying right now because of this coronavirus from their patients and for us. Moms have died, dads, beloveds in every country, and there maybe will be thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands more. To be real is to feel this. Otherwise, we're in denial. I will not forget you. Set a timer if you need to, something to call you back. Exhale. Feel your breath. Be where you are. Vow not to take the people around you or gone from you for granted. Let's try and practice these 3 actions every day. As I come to a close of my thoughts with you today as we celebrate Hanamatsuri, did you know that 57 years ago, in 1963, the Hawaii State Legislature passed a bill, legislation that made April 8 of each year known and designated as Buddha Day in the state of Hawaii, provided that this day is not and shall not be construed to be a state holiday. In other words, it's just a recognized observance or day. Only Honganji office you would get the Hanamatsuri, be participating in our service, online service. Take care of yourselves during this time of difficulty, and aware as this time is a time of opportunity as well. If there was no social distancing, if our temples were not closed, we wouldn't have such a great means of sharing the Dharma online. And I want to thank Reverend Kiyohara for his leadership in this area. And so I just want to share with you these words that always stick with me during difficult or challenging times. Reverend Bob Ushta of Sacramento Buddhist Church was our guest speaker at Yes Camp 2. Yes Camp 2 was 35 years ago. And I still remember he shared with us, and he said, when there's times of difficulty or challenge, always remember these words and say it to yourself. The truth of change has once again manifested itself in my life. What that means is the Buddha telling us that we cannot control everything, that the truth of impermanence or change always occurs whether we want it to or not. But if we listen to the Buddha's teachings, we listen to his voice calling us, calling the name Namo Amida Butsu, it will be okay. Everything will be okay. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much, and have a great Hanamatsuri.